To start out here, we're going to start with our top 5 interior defensive linemen. And right out the gate, here at number 5, I got Darren Payne. Darren Payne, picked in the first round, 13th overall back in 2018. Never had produced the way that I'm sure the Commanders had pictured until last year. First Pro Bowl year of his career with 11.5 sacks, 18 tackles for a loss, and 20 hits on the quarterback. For an interior player, those numbers are amazing. Rewarded with the new big contract, and it's certainly the jump that every Commanders fan was looking for. At number 4, we got Quinn Williams. Pretty similar to Darren Payne, Quinn Williams finally made that big leap last year the Jets fans were looking for when he drafted an interior player as high as that, Quinn was drafted. Quinn, though, substantially higher. Quinn was the 3rd overall pick in the draft back in 2019. Last year, first year, he had over double-digit sacks, sitting at 12 sacks, 12 tackles for a loss, 28 hits on the quarterback. Not only was he a Pro Bowler last year, Quinn Williams actually also was a first-team All-Pro. Them All-Pros are really what matters. And there's no doubt, Quinn Williams is an absolute monster on the interior D-line. And the big thing surrounding Quinn Williams right now is going to be, how much is he going to be paid? We know the Jets and him are working down, trying to figure out a contract. It's going to be interesting to see how much that he ends up being worth. At number 3, we got Dexter Lawrence. And again, very similar to the last 2 guys on this list, Dexter Lawrence made that big leap last year. His numbers don't necessarily pop out as much, but that's because he truly is just a complete plug in the middle, just absolutely disrupting everything. And again, not the other 2 guys aren't huge disruptors. They're just not as big body and just as much of a disruptor as Dexter is straight up. Just a huge body right in the middle of the line, literally muddying everything up. Pass and run, it's not going to be as easy with Dexter right there. 7.5 sacks last year, 7 tackles for a loss, and then 28 hits on the quarterback. Again, like I said, Dexter's numbers don't pop out as much to the eye, but that's because he is literally just kind of the man who's messing things up every single play. He's not always going to be the guy that's really making the tackle, getting the sack, but his impact is certainly there if you're watching. A guy like Dexter Lawrence just straight up provides value that very few other players in the league can, and probably will for a long time. At number 2, we got Chris Jones. And I'll be completely honest with you guys right now. Look, man, it was really hard not to put Chris Jones at number 1. He's just been getting better and better. Last year, he became the all-time playoff sack leader, which is an incredible accomplishment. Plays his best when it matters most, but he also dominates the regular season too, don't get it twisted. Last year, the first all-pro selection of his career, 15.5 sacks, 17 tackles for a loss, 29 hits on the quarterback. Chris Jones is a top 2 interior player in the league, and honestly, depending on who you ask, depending on what day you ask me, he truly could be number 1 as well. And again, I think we all know who's going to be number 1, but that's the problem, is if that person wasn't number 1, trust me, Chris Jones is sneaking in there without a question. Chiefs fans know Chris Jones is nothing to be played with. And if you don't realize that he's one of the best defenders in the entire league, you are just absolutely fooling yourself. And then at number 1, we have Aaron Donald. Now, Aaron Donald, only playing 11 games last year, did not get the full workload, so we just didn't get to see him at his full strength. And again, we all know what Aaron Donald was capable of. Best defender of our generation, the best pass rusher of our generation, one of the best run stuffers, if not the best run stuffer of our generation. Aaron Donald is just the complete package, the greatest we've ever been able to see, and what a blessing it's been, honestly. But last season, again, the reason I'm saying all that is because the numbers weren't up to par with what we're used to, but that's because, Rams just weren't themselves and the injury. But anyways, we're looking at from last season, 5 sacks, 10 tackles for a loss, and 11 quarterback hits. Not the AD that we're used to, but again, I don't think it's going to be the same version of him we're going to keep getting. This was just a bit of an off year. And when he's at his peak, we just know what AD's capable of. And I couldn't knock him off number 1 just for one slow year. I'm real big on that, especially when the injury was the cause. Got to give him another shot to redeem himself. And yeah, there's just not much more to say. Aaron Donald, the defender of our generation, and he belongs to number 1 on the list.